So our topic today is, let's see if you can see this, productive work versus busy work. And if there's any topic that makes a difference in your level of external success, but I would also attribute this to internal success too, because I want to talk on both sides of this is what is actually productive and what is actually not. And I'll tell you my own story around this. A lot of times when I was in my mind, productivity was, hey, as long as I'm busy, as long as I'm doing something, I'm being productive. That cannot be more false from where I stand now. And I thought it was just mostly me, but then I started talking to other professionals. It was somebody I think joked around, if you want to be successful in the corporate world, make sure you have a phone and a folder underneath your arm and just running around looking stressed out. And you will look like you're doing work. And that's kind of not only defines people in the corporate world, but also even business owners. Like I work with business owners. A lot of times I'm working with coaches. I have a company where we help coaches build their business, and I will actually walk through what they do on a day-to-day basis. 90% of what they do has nothing to do with building their business. 90% of what they do has nothing to do with what they need to deal with on their personal side. And this is very common. It's not an unheard of. Most people, they don't do productive work. They do busy work. This is what it looks like. They will wake up. First thing, social media, text messages, email. And we know that if you just check your email, like this is through high performance studies, basically through High Performance Institute, that if you just check your email first thing in the morning, you've dropped your productivity by 35%. Just the fact that you check in, because what are you actually, if you really think about what email is, Brandon Burchard has a good way of saying is that email is a nice organizing system for other people's agendas. It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with other people. So how do we start our day? What do we focus on? How do we think through productivity is going to be very important. And how do I look at productivity now? Well, the way I look at it now is that productivity is much broader than just work in business. It actually involves our whole life. Like, what is productive? And you're going to have to start defining that for yourself. And I want you to think about it in three areas. Being productive in your own growth, in your personal and your mental, physical, emotional, spiritual growth. The things that you do in that area makes you productive. That means you're building emotional resiliency, mental toughness, mental stamina, physical stamina. You're building spiritual resilience, spiritual wisdom. All that stuff goes into your growth side. You can just build it like that. If you're doing anything that helps you build that area, that's a productive thing to do. Think about it from a relationship standpoint. If you're a human being, unless you are somebody who is, what do we call them? The word slipped out, but somebody who goes off in the wilderness and doesn't deal with any human beings, you are dealing with people. It could be a family member, it could be a colleague, it could be a client, it could be somebody you're running into. So the way you interact people matters. So if you're working on building relationships or learning how to build relationships, you're spending time on that. That is productive work. In fact, you cannot run a business without understanding how to connect with people. You cannot build a life without understanding how to connect with people. And so that is an area of productivity for you to think about. The third area is your business/contribution. Now, for some people, for me, my contribution and business are interconnected. For some people, it might be different things. But what are you doing to add value out in the world? Whether that's with your team, with your community, with your family, or with the greater world. What are you doing to add value? That comes down to how are you tracking the stuff? How are you processing it? Are you focused in that area, or are you just distracted in different areas? So think about those three areas that are going to be the key areas of productivity: your growth, your relationships, and your business/contributions. Now, when you're thinking about this, I want you to kind of take a tally of your day. Take a look at your calendar. And by the way, if you don't have a calendar system, you need to get something that you can look at visually that tells you what you're doing every day. That you can get to the end of the week, you can say, oh, those are the things that I did. Those are the things that I didn't do. Those are the things that I can improve. You can assess data other than the fact that saying, oh, I felt productive all week. Feeling productive doesn't necessarily translate to being productive. Those two things are different. I actually did a masterclass right before this. So this is what many coaches do. So they need to reach out to clients, connect with them, add value to their life, and offer their program. So what most coaches do is they will do one or two clients like that, or sometimes they won't even do that. They're just putting out content or meeting people here and there. They will get to the end of the month. They will not have any clients, and they will look back. We're like, oh, this is not working. I feel overwhelmed. I feel like none of my efforts are paying off. I feel like I'm being very productive, but they have no data to speak of other than their own emotions. That data only tells me that you don't know how to process it, or you don't know how to make sense of it. And the reason why you don't know how to make sense of those emotions or process it, one, there's a skill set of processing them. The other one, making sense, requires more data. And more data comes from you tracking things. It means that you're tracking your day, you're tracking your outreach, you're tracking a lot of the things that you're doing in your business and life. So as a simple way to do that is you have some kind of physical board, or you have an electronic calendar, or you have some kind of visual thing that tells you what you're doing. And here's what productive looks like. So for example, this morning, I woke up at 6 in the morning. One of the first things that one of the first things that I think and feel is gratitude. Is, okay, what do I feel connected to? What do I feel grateful about? And one of the first things I look at is my calendar. What is happening in my day? I don't look at my email, I look at my calendar. What am I doing in the day? I wake up at 6 in the morning. What's happening in my day? In fact, I'll look farther out, my week, my month, what's happening with my calendar? Who do I need to reach out to? What are the things I need to refine? What's important this week? And I'm making sense of that. If I don't have that set up already, I'm trying to figure out what is important for me to do in my business and life. So if you haven't gone through a long-term goal setting or vision building process, go to your members area. The workshop is there. We'll be doing those live coming up soon. But for now, you can go to the recording and work through that. So you need to have something that you can look at to assess. So one of the first things that I do is I look at that. Once I'm done all that, I freshen up and everything, I will move my body a little bit. I will do a meditation. That's mine. I'm not saying you should be doing that. You need a way to kind of connect with your own body, your own thoughts. You need to move a little bit because that helps with a lot of things. That wakes you up, that gets you focused, that gets you aligned. I'll drink water. I'll spend the first half an hour to 40 minutes doing that. After that, this is my time. I can choose to do this. So today, this morning, I actually worked on some of the planning that I need to do because I ran a 2-hour masterclass. I worked on refining the slides on that and working through the plan around that and what the outreach process is going to be. By the time around 8:30 hit, I had already gotten my plan ready for my masterclass and everything. Then I had a 9 o'clock sales call for one of my other businesses. After that, I met one of my team members who's doing the outreach process in the background. After that was done, I met with my a team member who was co-facilitating the masterclass. Now, there were about 5-minute gap between each of these meetings. And then after the meeting with my team member, I had about 30 minutes to get ready for a podcast that I went on. And the podcast is really, that's where I talk about my coaching and all sorts of stuff. So that connects to the sales. Then after that, I did the 2-hour masterclass. And after that, I took about 10 minutes, reset, and got ready for this and came here. Now, it's already 3:40. I've probably gotten more done in my business than most people in my business get done in a week. Because I think about it, I've done the planning. The masterclass connects with a long-term outreach process. Now, in the background, we have a team member that's reaching out to all these people that are connecting with them, and we're going to book calls with them, and that builds our sales model, sales process. I've already gotten on a podcast that promotes my own coaching business, and that I use the content that goes to my social media manager that she breaks it up. I've already, and this is part of my normal business, I've prepared for this. I've already had a sales call. After this, I'm going to take a 15-minute break where I'm going to eat something quickly. I usually do intermittent fasting, so I don't really eat up until later on. But I've had a little bit, one small meal, but I'm going to have another small meal. And then I have a collaboration meeting between a company and one of the coaching contacts that I know that are connecting us with them, where we're going to potentially build a coaching program for this company where we can send coaches to them. That is a very high value item. Then I have about 30 minutes at 5 o'clock that will be left my time. That's where I reflect what went well, what didn't go well, look at my calendar, what's happening tomorrow, and then I'm done for the day. Then I go to my family. I do not have anything else happening when it comes to work. And I'm sharing this as an example, not because, oh, I'm great, because there are days where I struggle. But like the Mondays are generally like that. I'm excited, I'm focused, I'm doing the things that actually move my businesses forward on the work end. After this, time to connect with my kids. About an hour after that, I'll spend time with my kids. I'll have some food, and we'll slowly kind of get ready for bedtime after 2 hours after we have dinner. And then we'll have some time. My wife and I were working on a routine so we can spend some time together for a couple hours at the end of the night, and then we go to bed. That is a productive day. It involved growth, which meant I connected with myself first. I had a routine for that. I moved. And then after that, I made sure I had my planning. I knew what I was doing after that. And in the middle, there were some areas where I did check my email. It was just some 5-10 minute periods after I did my planning. I usually do my emails after planning, not before. And then I did with this, it'll be 2 training sessions. I've already done a podcast. I've already done a sales call. I have a collaboration call, and I've connected with my family, with all of them. I've taken care of myself. That is a productive day. Now, it doesn't have to be this busy. Mondays are usually very busy for me. Some days I have more gaps in between. Busy, like I said, does not equal being productive. Being focused and doing the things that actually move your life and business forward means productive. So productivity, I want to put it in these 3 terms. There's effectiveness, there's consistency, and there's courage. So a lot of the things that you will be doing, like anything that is going to move your life and business forward, being consistent, nothing beats more than consistent when it comes to your habits, whether that's habits of thinking and framing things a certain way, habits of feeling, habits of doing things a certain way. Nothing beats that. Quality does not beat that. Perfection, whatever that idea is, does not beat that. A new opportunity does not beat that. Because when you have habits in place, whether those are habits of working out, habits of meditation, habits of checking your calendar, they're helping you build systems internally. That's equivalent to business systems for human beings internally for us. We're building systems to function a certain way. So when you build consistent habits, whether you're posting things online or connecting with people or taking care of yourself a certain way or thinking about things a certain way, they build your character, and nothing can replace that. You cannot buy that. It doesn't matter how much money you have, you cannot buy that. You can buy a trainer and a coach that will give you that, but you cannot buy that. You're still going to have to build the habits. And then the last part was effectiveness. What is effective is usually connected to courage, those things that scare us a little bit, that leap that we need to take. For example, this collaboration meeting, I'm way out of my league with these collaboration meetings because these companies are very big. I don't know what they need. And the coach that I was connected to, he messaged me, he's like, what's our game plan? I'm like, the game plan is to connect with them and find out what the hell they need and maybe help them understand that coaching is an important piece. That's my game plan. I don't have any other game plan because I don't even know what they need. And it takes a few conversations to even build that relationship. And I've done that before with a couple of companies, and it is a long process. It's very time heavy. And the couple of companies that I've been able to build that relationship took about close to 8 months to 1 year. It's worth the time, but it's intensive and long. Once you build it, it's very powerful. But I don't know what I'm doing there. Like, I don't even know how that's going to go, and might or might not work. And it's a very important company in the world that I'm in. So that's scary for me, but it's also exciting. That's usually effective things. That takes courage. The masterclass that we did, we do not know what we're doing. We're trying things. We're trying things, we're working things out, and we're testing things out. When I'm doing these sales calls, I'm constantly refining them. When I'm working with my team, we're constantly testing and refining things. Those are things that are effective, productive, things that might scare you a little bit or a lot, things that might excite you a little bit, things that are connected to your path. Every other thing that we do, I call those maintenance stuff. I'll do them anyway. I'll take out the garbage later on. I will sometimes go for grocery, or I'll order in, and I'll have to do other things in the background to fix things. I'll organize my desk. These are all busy work. That is not the thing that's going to move your life and business forward. And usually the things that take your business forward, they are related to marketing or sales. usually if it's related to your personal life, there are things that you've been kind of putting off, an important conversation, somebody you need to connect to, something that you need to share, something that you need to work on internally in terms of your emotions, something that you need to plan out and spend time on. Those are the things that we avoid. And it's just based on the feedback that I've gotten.